Now, I couldn't get it on the last, and I'm having trouble with my phone. I have had it's, I've been hacked and everything. But anyway, I want to continue this last one that I put up. And video. I started to tell about it. I found out in late '83 after I'd done a medical malpractice book, MD: A License to Kill, which was unpublished. Had a letter from the FBI, June the 23rd, '79. William Harper, U.S. Attorney, a letter saying that ongoing investigation, national security involved. I had written about mind control murders, which later, Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. By the way, Lawrence County, Alabama is where I was taken when I was kidnapped. Hope I'm not confusing you here. You'd have to go back to some of the other tapes or the one I just made. Larry Flint, I was flown out there. He did an article April 1984 endorsing me and saying that I knew who was Larry McDonald's on there and Murphy, responsible for his shooting. And Mr. Flint paid a hefty price for telling the truth. Now, you tell me, I don't like pornography, but if you could walk in my shoes and see the cold-blooded BAST, you finish it for me, and see what you would think when people, I've had things that are totally lies said about me. And all I did was tell the truth. But these are some of the mind control murders. This is that I was writing about. Of course, I was writing about mind control and programming. Of course, this is later after I moved to Roanoke. Sandy Hook, he was programmed, shot his mother, and the Sandy Hook, of course, he was programmed to do it. This is Fort Hood shooter. He's a psychiatrist that finished at Virginia Tech and went on somewhere else and got his degree in psychiatry. He was born here, did I say that, at Roanoke, Benton. Now then, you get into Matthews, Jesse Matthews, who shot Hannah Graham, well, not shot, he raped and killed Hannah Graham, student at Charlottesville, Virginia, University of Virginia, along with another student. Well, she was abducted there. She was at a Metallica concert, but she actually went to school at Virginia Tech, and that's where the August the 16th, '07 mass shootings happened. These are involved with the use of programs. That's how they're done. It's a mechanism used. It doesn't show up in a forensic or an autopsy, so it's hard to prove. These were done in patterns, and yes, they can be proven. And I'm so afraid the Alexis Murphy, that's one of them, from Livingston, Virginia, and the Hannah Graham and the other one. Her father's a psychiatrist here, by the way. I'm almost afraid to say it because they want me out of the way, and it covered up. Jesse Matthews was programmed. So anyway, Larry Flint, the person that actually shot him, was programmed. And I won't go on with the other list of them. There's some entertainers like Robin Williams, and you won't finish it. You won't understand it until you have to know. Here's what I want to say, too. I had Larry Flint furnished me a car back then for a year, at least one. I was pumping gas in Grottoes, Virginia, and FBI agent came in there. No, he's supposed to be retired. Well, they don't always retired, okay? He would come in there often, 84 into 85, and that's when these murders happened. And their victims, Jens Zoring was a diplomat's son, German diplomat's son, and Elizabeth Haysom, they're in prison now for supposedly killing her parents, Nancy and Derek Haysom, and it was tried in Bedford County Court. Now, so I don't forget it, and I think I have, I really haven't forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the FBI agent Noe would come in and the store in Grottoes, And he told me, stood there at one point and said, you know, everybody knows you're telling the truth. He said they, and he, remember who I said he worked for, have made it so ludicrous that people know you're telling the truth, but it gives them a chance to help, but they walk away. And the same similar thing FBI agent in Atlanta said after the letter was issued to me was he pretends he was yawning from boredom. He said they're bored with what you tell them. And this is way back then, about 1981. He said it's only when they learn and find out how it affects them that they care. Well, they don't care for me, I can assure you. So anyway, I wanted to go back to the other part of this. I didn't know about my real name. I knew something was wrong with the way I was brought up. It was hell. Lina Dempsey, given the name of twins. I was 2 years old. It was 41. I was born in 39. And my Uncle George and Elizabeth, they're illegal. My father never married Wallace Simpson, a double did. My father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor, an American, George O'Keefe's sister. So this woman has signed treaties. She's lived off of my hell and my money, while my sons Mark and Scott have lived in hell. They're heirs after me, and I am the legal heir. It was a forced abdication. Lies. Can you believe history that's changed? Everything changed after 41. Joe Kennedy was ambassador, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, Roosevelt, and my own uncle. You got the Freemasons and the global government that's in place. Now then, this is at last, and this is what I wanted to get across. Before I found out about my, and I remember it now, I can remember a lot of things, and you do remember them when you're 2 years old and prior. But anyway, when they gave me the antifreeze, the night of April the 1st of 80, and remember I had the letter from the U.S. Attorney William Harper, June the 23rd, my father's birthday, only it was in 79. I thought it was the book. It was because of who I am. But anyway, I had done the book and I had the antifreeze put in me. I went to the emergency room to see what it was because it's a living hell. And they actually told me they were going to put me in a living hell just prior to that. And I thought, well, I already am. But boy, you soon find out it can get worse than you think. Anyway, I'm going to not go into that until this was April the 1st of 80, and I'm shoved into a car by Philip, who I thought was a half-brother growing up. He worked for the ATF. He's now retired. His wife, Nancy, my ex-husband, and this name's for Lina Dempsey, who killed her twins, Peggy and Carl Dempsey, and I was placed there deliberately. I think I was brought in at Cortland Air Base that had just been built, and their pigsty was there, close to it in Moulton. So anyway, it was pre-planned, and her twins were dead, and she would have faced, she killed them, the death penalty, and that family continued to cover it up. But anyway, what I wanted to get to, I was shoved into the car on the 5th, Saturday the 5th of April of 80, shoved in there, and Nancy Phillips' wife said the agency Philip works for is a part of who's doing this to you. I'm begging to go back to my apartment and my sons because I was afraid they were going to kill them. And in that condition, you can't tell how you feel. And scared to death and not knowing why, I thought it was the book. When I got to Lina Dempsey's, first of all, I'm leaving out part of that, but I was taken to her trailer. And I looked on the wall, and remember if you can possibly how I was feeling. I looked at the wall, and Humpty Dumpty, it was like in a nursery rhyme in a nursery school for kids. It was posters put together. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a big fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could never put Humpty together again. Well, that was a clue. They told her to put it up, and she did. To my identity, I find out later. When I was flown to Mr. Flint's in 80.